My name is Michelle Chan, and I've worked at Friends of the Earth for 14 years, working on the intersection of environment and Wall Street. Friends of the Earth is releasing a new report on Capitol Hill today about carbon trading, and especially the lessons that we've learned from the recent financial crisis, and how we should really use that as a cautionary tale before we create a giant new financial market that will actually be created by the passage of most traditional cap and trade bills. Carbon trading as an idea is supposed to be very simple. That simply the government creates allowances or permits to pollute, which are given or auctioned away to companies that are carbon emitters. And that those companies that emit more than their regulated amount actually have to buy additional allowances or permits from those companies that may have emitted less. And so in that way, there is a total aggregate limit to the amount of greenhouse gases which are emitted into the atmosphere because of the limited number of allowances that are created in the first place. And we think that carbon markets are going to also be dominated by speculators. That will mean people buying carbon commodities, not because they need them to comply with greenhouse gas regulations, but because they think they can make money off of them by buying them at one price and then selling them at a higher price. So when we create a speculative bubble in carbon, we'll have a lot of different effects. One of them will be that it will simply make the cost of complying with greenhouse gas regulations more expensive for companies, and that may be passed to consumers. But with a boom and a bust cycle, which sometimes occurs when there is a bubble, when carbon prices collapse, for example, it could pull the rug out from underneath those companies that have really made expensive early investments in research and development, in green capital, technologies, infrastructure, and these kinds of investments actually need to be made up front and they need to be made early. But if carbon prices all of a sudden collapse around them, then they'll find that by the time that these regulations, by the time these technologies come online, that it really just would have been cheaper for them to buy their way out of compliance rather than making these investments, and that would be a bad thing. One of the things that we should be really, really careful about right now in considering cap and trade bills before Congress is the fact that carbon trading will create a massive, massive new financial market. And what we've really seen in this current financial crisis is that the ability of Washington to regulate Wall Street is really pretty bad. And it would be pretty imprudent, actually, to create a very, very large and complex carbon market and foist it upon a new and untested financial regulatory regime.